Hello, beautiful community. Just a quick comment from me on the partial permission for Ukraine over the use of US weapons on Russian territory. And I want to say something temperamental and then something more important, political. Temperamentally, I don't necessarily recommend jubilation about this because this is a somewhat defensive, forced, necessitated decision, plugging a hole with something that you didn't want to bring into the game, but the hole's got too big, so we better plug it with it. So it's a necessitated call rather than a proactive decision made in good time. And it's necessitated because things are going badly. So that's what I want to add temperamentally to how we see it. Politically, what this decision is a step in the dark in a game to which we haven't figured out the rules and in which we haven't figured out our own role. And that game is how we respond to nuclear blackmail. We've talked about how nuclear blackmail is a centerpiece of Russian foreign policy. We even talked about it before the war, for the tiny of you that may have been with me then. And the Russians ain't the last ones to practice this. Nuclear blackmail is going to be a feature in 20th century, 21st century global politics. And so we need to have an approach to it. And at the moment we don't. What we have at the moment is a response that cartoonishly goes something like this. Putin's probably not a mentalist, but what if he is? Let's proceed cautiously. Now, the trouble is that when we are the recipients of nuclear blackmail, we don't know how we're going to respond. We just respond with a series of tentative steps. The Russians know that we don't know how we're going to respond, and we are therefore available to be taken advantage of. And that's a gap that needs to be plugged. And with so many contemporary political trends, we're somewhat in denial with the fact that we are now in a new chapter of history. And our response to nuclear blackmail is still as though it is a kind of aberration that will get absorbed by history, such that once it settles down we won't have to deal with it anymore, and we can just get away with a set of piecemeal responses, as opposed to understanding that this is a serious political problem which we will face repeatedly, to which we need much more systematic answers than the answers we've got so far. Lots of love, talk soon.